Hello, my name is Dustin Lindberg, and I'm a visually impaired man that lives in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I have my 2-year associate's degree in IT support. I got that from Hennepin Technical College in Brooklyn Park because that institution or that school is very good for people with disabilities. The whole community of Brooklyn Park is a good place to live if you're a person with disabilities because um, they have affordable apartments for you to rent. There's affordable places because some people in Brooklyn Park they take their spare bedrooms that they don't use and they turn them into like little studio apartments. So like you can rent a bedroom out of someone's house while like you're going to school. You can rent an apartment there for a good price as you're going to school. The buses that takes you from the single family home neighborhoods or the apartment neighborhoods and all that stuff. They have buses that'll take you from those neighborhoods to Hennepin Tech 24 hours a day. So if like your school class is at 8 p.m., you can like, oh no, I need to get to class. And you can just hop on the bus from the apartment complex you're renting and stuff and just bus to school. And I liked Hennepin Tech because it's affordable. I'm gonna say it's still expensive if you think about it, but it's still more affordable than going to a place like Anoka Ramsey or North Hennepin Community College or even a university or a private school. Hennepin Tech is like the cheapest option that you can go for your education that is not junk. So I tried going to community college. I went to Anoka Ramsey Community College as my first college experience, but I did not like the experience there. I did not like the way the school was laid out. I did not like how expensive the school was for the way the school was laid out. And I did not, me and some of the teachers there did not click. So then when I transferred to Hennepin Technical College, me and the teachers there, we clicked. I liked the school design. I liked a lot of my classmates and all that. So I really, if you're disabled and you want to go to school, Hennepin Tech in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota is a perfect place for you to go. And there's plenty of apartments for you to rent. There's plenty of townhomes for you to rent and share with your friends and stuff. And then it's good. It's a good experience for disabled people to kind of like get on their own and experience life. And then you can be a disabled person who doesn't live with their parents for the rest of their lives. And then after Hennepin Tech, I went to this place called Avo, Minnesota. Avo, Minnesota is a nonprofit organization in South Minneapolis next to Matthews Park that that helps you like find housing, that helps you find a job, that helps you, with counseling. If you're a disabled person, you have anxiety or stress, or you can take the bus. You can take the 7 bus from downtown Minneapolis to Advo in South Minneapolis by Matthews Park, and talk to the counselors there for a free or reduced price. Um, and enough also if you're disabled, you can take the 7 right a block around the corner from Avo. There's a place called Free Geek, and what Free Geek does is companies who don't need their computers anymore, they will donate those computers to Free Geek, and then Free Geek then fixes up those computers and make them look like they're brand new, and they will sell those computers, those used computers, at a reduced price. And that place is down by in South Minneapolis. It's just a block away from Avo. You can easily, when you get off the 7 bus at Avo and you do your stuff at Avo, you can easily just walk the block to be at Free Geek. And that's where I send a lot of disabled people to go get computers and stuff. Um, because the computers are like, they're used, so they should be cheaper, and they're even cheaper than you buying a used computer at Best Buy, because they're a nonprofit. So this organization gets funding from the city of Minneapolis, and because they get funding from the city of Minneapolis, they don't have to worry about, oh my God, we have to sell bazillion computers to pay our bills. They can just be honest, straightforward people because the city of Minneapolis is paying their bills. So so then I send a lot of disabled people down there to get computers and stuff, and so I do go to South Minneapolis a lot because my cousin lives down there. She lives in a luxury apartment down there. South Minneapolis is kind of weird because there is like luxury apartments next to shitty apartments next to single family homes. So so South Minneapolis is kind of weird. And then some of the single family homes have been turned into a bunch of little studios. So that when from the outside it looks like it's a single family house, but once you get in, they turn like all the bedrooms into like individual like studios, and then the living room and the kitchen become like the lobby. So, South Minneapolis is a weird place, but it's a really good place if like you're disabled and once you're done with college, and if you don't want to live in Brooklyn Park anymore, you can live in South Minneapolis and have because it's affordable there for people with disabilities, and you can like say, oh, okay, I want to go to downtown, so I can go to St. Louis Park. You can take the train to downtown and then take the bus out to St. Louis Park. Or you can take the 7 bus, go to downtown, and then take the different bus to St. Louis Park. Or like the other day, I took the bus from downtown Minneapolis to Fridley. But most disabled people who are not working won't be able to afford downtown Minneapolis. So if you're a disabled person who's not working after you're done getting your college education, if you don't want to stay out in Brooklyn Park, um, or Brooklyn Center's really close to Brooklyn Park, and it's like a copy, but it's not as convenient. South Minneapolis, it's also a very good choice, and there's like and as a disabled person, I would never move to North Minneapolis. I would never move there because North Minneapolis has too much gang violence and gang crime to make that area be safe for disabled people. If I had if I won the lottery, I would take whatever disabled people were in North Minneapolis and then and I would move them to Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, or South Minneapolis, or downtown Minneapolis, where I live, because no disabled person, in my opinion, should be living in North Minneapolis. Um, so if so, so when you're done with school, you want to start looking for places and start being independent. And the first thing you want to do is you want to go to a place called like Housing Link. And this place like Housing Link, they can help you find a house based off what you can afford on your social security or a place. And then once you do that, you mean you can move into your adult place. Like I would advise using Housing Link when you're in school because Housing Link is made for you to find a rental place for you to rent for years. So when like you're going to school, like at Hennepin Tech, I advise you guys just to go on to apartments.com, type in your budget, and then find it that way. Um, but once like you want to find someplace long term that you want to stay in for years, that's when I advise you guys to go to Housing Link, because Housing Link will help you find a house or apartment for you to rent that you can live in for 5 to 6 years. Um, yeah, so once you're done with school, if you want to stay on Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, that area, because of the good busing and the easy way to get to Hennepin Tech and the grocery store and stuff, I would just like use Housing Link out there. But if like you want to move into the cities where the public transportation's way better, you have way better services and stuff, I would use Housing Link, and I would check South Minneapolis or downtown Minneapolis. And just wait, and then Housing Link, they will send you emails. Oh, we found a place for you to rent based on your specifications. And then you can go there, click on it, go there and apply to see if they want you. And if they say yes, they will each company is different on how much they expect you to pay them and how they pay them if you're on Social Security. And then once you find your place and you move into your place, that's when I advise you to start looking for jobs. Um, so because first you want a place, and then you where there's good public transportation, and then you start looking for jobs. That's so, but because I'm a disabled person who works and I don't live 100% off my Social Security, I did it differently. How I did it was I got a job first, because I was living with my parents when I went to school. And then I saved up my money, because Social Security has a special bank plan for disabled people who are working, where they can put their money and it doesn't hurt their Social Security. So I put my money into this bank account plan that's owned by Social Security, and I saved up my money. And then when I was working at Nordstrom Rack when I was done with college, and Total Wine when I was done with college, and CVS when I was done with college. And then I just built up my wealth, and then I used that money to help me move to downtown Minneapolis. So I used that money to pay the down payment for my apartment. If like you are like on Social Security and use Housing Link and you get into low income housing, those apartments don't really have a down payment on it, because they're funded partly by the state or by the county or by a city. So they can't really do that to you. But if you go private like I did, you have to pay that kind of shit because it's private. They can do whatever they want. So then, I paid the down deposit. I paid the first deposit. I paid that oh yeah, if I destroyed the place, you can take this money. And I paid the first and second month's rent. And I used the money that I saved up while working to do this. And I paid for it. I got it. I got in. And now I'm a disabled person living in a regular people apartment building. All my neighbors around me are not disabled, like me. They're just regular people working regular jobs. And I actually like it because my apartment building is very, very, very safe, because when everyone works just like you and everyone's working just as hard as you, everyone kind of respects each other and respects each other's stuff, because we know, okay, if we damage this window, the apartment gets that money from that window from the tenants, and then they have to raise the rents to cover that window that someone damaged. A lot of people who live in low income housing, because they only pay like $500 to $600 worth of rent, and the rest is covered by the state. If they accidentally break a window, the county just covers it, and their rent doesn't go up. But if you're a private apartment like me, if someone smashes a window, and the apartment's like, well, we have to raise rent because we need to cover the cost of that window. So the people in like a private apartment building, like me, that work really hard, we don't want the rent to go up. So we treat the building with a lot of respect and care. Um, and also when like you're working like as many hours we do, when you come home, you want to come home to a nice apartment building in a nice place, and you want to sleep in a nice place. Um, so so just keep that in mind. There's different avenues you can go. Yes. And I'm a disabled person who doesn't live with his parents. I live by myself. I don't have a dog. I don't have a cat. I don't have any pets because I work so much that I don't have time to take care of those animals. My parents live down in Fort Myers, Florida. Um, and when I need help, I will just call them and say, Mom, Dad, I need help. And then they will like Venmo me money, and then or Venmo me money, and then I'll just say, "Don't worry, Mom, I'll pay you back." And then I use whatever the money I need it for, and then on my next paycheck, I'll Venmo my mom that money back. So, my mom lives in Fort Myers, Florida, and she and my stepdad lives down there. My real dad and my stepmom still live in Otsego. I can't live out in Otsego because the public transportation out there sucks. The only public transportation they have out in Otsego is Uber. And Uber is expensive. Like when I lived out in Maple Grove with my mom, I used to take Uber a lot because public transportations out in suburbs suck. So if I did move out there with my dad, I would easily take Uber again. I would easily take Uber again. Um, the issue is the Uber costs like double the amount of public transportation. So then, I won't, when I take Uber, I can't do as many things. I don't have as much opportunities because Uber takes more of my money. So, yeah, and then you can't do things every day because when Uber costs you $18 one way and $18 coming back, that's almost like for me a week. $18 for me is a week of groceries. So so then it kind of shuts down your opportunities. So that's why I now live in town, because when one ride only costs you like $2 away, that only cost me like $4 to get to work and back. And then then all my money is not like disappearing, and then actually have money to buy my weeks of groceries, and then I can do something, then actually have spare money to do something fun. So my parents still live in Otsego, and my dad's like, come live with me and have a good life, and where like you can be stress free and blah blah blah. And I told him, no, I'm not going to do that because I want to live an independent life that I know that I don't have to rely on him to do everything for me, like drive me to work, drive me to my appointments. I rather like, oh, cool, HCMC, my doctor is a block away. I can just walk there. Or, oh, yeah, my vision place is in St. Paul. I can just hop on the green line, get there in 45 minutes. Green line's a train, by the way. And the train will literally drop me off right in front of it because I go to the University of Minnesota for my eye appointments, because the University of Minnesota has the best eye doctors in the state of Minnesota. And then then I can easily get to the University of Minnesota, do my eye appointments, and just live. And I don't need like, Dad, can you please help me? I don't have to do that. I can just like, just do it. And also, my dad doesn't like town, so convincing him to drive me to town will be like pulling out my own teeth and hearing me scream. So, yeah, and then so if you guys need help getting a job at Nordstrom Rack, McDonald's, um, Cub Foods, Mall of America, DCM Services, or like CVS or Total Wine, let me know and talk with me, and I can see if you can use me as a reference, and then you can get in and start building your career. So then you can start living as an independent adult. Um, I also um, bought myself a bunch of furniture for my apartment um, by myself. I saved up my money while working at the Mall of America, and I went to Walmart and I bought my furniture from Walmart. I took the bus from here to Brooklyn Center when Brooklyn Center had a Walmart, and I bought my bought my Walmart furniture because I'm broke as fuck. So I buy my stuff, a lot of stuff from Walmart, and then I had them Walmart deliver it to my apartment one day I have had off of work, and then the people at Walmart assembled my furniture. Now that Walmart's closed, next to my work in Bloomington, literally the one bus stop over from my work in Bloomington, I can go to Walmart to buy my groceries there, blah blah blah, then take the bus back to downtown and with my groceries. Um, so I love living in downtown Minneapolis because I can take, like the other day when I wanted me when my brother needed to come pick me up because he needed to drive me out to my dad's house so I can see him for his birthday and my stepmom for Mother's Day. I just hopped on a Brooklyn Park bus, went out to Brooklyn Park, able to pick me up in Brooklyn Park. And then when I need to go back home for work, he just dropped me off in Fridley on on the other side of the suburbs. I just popped on the bus, the 10 bus, came back in the downtown, and yeah, it was an hour and a half bus ride because Fridley is further out from downtown Minneapolis than Brooklyn Park is. But I was still able to get home fine. The bus dropped me off a few blocks from my apartment. I just walked the 2 to 3 blocks, and then boom, I was home. I was after my brother just dropped me on a bus line. I was able to get home fine. So the good thing is, and then I can get out to St. Louis Park to go shopping. I can, no regrets. Um, what else has changed? Yes. Um, I do now know how to do my own taxes and all that stuff because that's what's changed. And I now do debt collections because the Mall of America was kind of stressful on my disabilities. So now I work in debt collections. I deal with dead people. So I'll explain to you that in the next recording. Right now, I work at a company called DCM Services, and we are a debt collection agency that deals with dead people's estates. And I'm part of the Chase team. So what happens is, pretend if your husband Timmy dies, okay? And Timmy has $10,000 in debt to Chase. And Timmy has a lake home up in Duluth that he bought by himself. And you have no claim. Your name is not on the deed to that lake home. And then Timmy has a monster truck only under his name that he has up in his Duluth cabin. He has a semi truck in his name up in his Duluth cabin. And you just live in a simple 1-bedroom condo in South Minneapolis that you and him just share during the week. And then he does all this fun stuff by himself up in Duluth. So what happens is I call you and say, ding, 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 and I say, hello, my name is Dustin Lindberg, and I work for DCM Services. Are you the executor for Timmy's estate? And if you say, yes, I am the executor for my husband Timmy's estate, and then I say, just to let you know, we are a debt collection agency, and we're collecting the debt of the deceased is estate. If and you are not reliable for this person's debt, we only take the money that we need from the dead deceased estate. So then, and then from there, she tells me, oh no, we still have to sell his monster truck, his house, his cabin, blah blah blah. And then what I do is I say, okay, when do you think that's going to be sold? And she said, I don't know. And then what like you do is we send her a pamphlet, like we put in the computer to send her a pamphlet with a contact information to her address and stuff. And then once she gets that pamphlet, when she sells her husband's house, monster trucks and stuff, and has a boatload of money, his estate has a boatload of money, she will call us and saying, hey, just to let you know, we have the money you need. Let's make that payment. And then, and then the house, everything's coming in small amounts. I can't give you everything at once. And then I help her make a payment plan. And that money comes out of her dead husband's estate. And then, the money slowly goes back to Chase. Or sometimes I have to deal with lawyers. So a lawyer might say, okay, this person owns 20,000 to 10 credit cards, and he only has $500 worth of assets. And so the lawyer makes a payment plan. Okay, this is how we're going to split up the money along the $500 along these companies, and sends that to a judge. A judge approves it or doesn't approve it. If the judge approves it, that lawyer will send that paperwork to all the companies that say this is how much you're getting, and the law says this is how much you're getting. And then each credit card company uses a different third party to manage their debt. Chase uses DCM Services, where I work for. So then the judge will send it to Chase, and then Chase will send it to DCM Services, and then DMZ Services makes sure that they might get their 150 that the judge promised. And then we'll contact that lawyer who's leading that dead person's case, and say, okay, well, how long is it going to take you to give us that 150? How long, so then Chase, the credit card company, actually loses out on money. So that's why Chase and these credit card companies have to charge such high interest rates on their cards. And then when Chase and though that give you like a loan, why the loan has such high interest on it? Because for them to make money from all the losses they're getting from dead people, they have to charge living people money to use the credit cards. They have to charge us high interest rates and stuff when we use the credit cards. And then they take that money and they cover the losses that they get from dead people. So every time you're using your credit card and they're charging you 25% interest on that, or 45% interest on that, half of that money goes to cover losses from dead people who can't pay back their credit card debt. So that's what I do for a job. It's DMC Services is in Bloomington, is located next to Great Wolf Lodge. So if you take the train from downtown Minneapolis to the Mall of America, and you get off the transit station and you hop on the D line bus, it's going to be the second stop, and then when like you get off, it's going to be in the block building. Or if you just be like me and just take the D bus from downtown Minneapolis and you're going, once like you see Walmart, you push the button, and then it's going to be the stop after Walmart. So so my business is in a very convenient area for public transportation, because you can take the blue line bus to the train, sorry, the blue line train to the mall, and then take a bus to get there. Or you can just take the D line bus and just go straight there. So in both the train and the bus come every half an hour until midnight. So, and then the good thing is, like, after I'm done with work, I can just like, oh, I need to go Walmart on my way home. I can just hop in the bus to go get off at the next stop, and then go shopping at Walmart, and then get to the station, wait for maybe 10 to 20 minutes or whatever, depends on what schedule I hit. Hop back on the D bus and then go home. Or I can like, oh, cool, I want to go to Mall of America because I want some food after work. I can hop on the D bus going towards the mall, or a different bus going towards the mall, and then hop on, get to the mall, like, because the mall's only like 2 stops away, and then go eat at the mall, and like, cool, I can take the train or the D bus back home, and then I can decide and just, or a different bus, because there's like a third bus that will take me from the Mall of America to downtown. I don't really know what it is yet because I never needed to take it, and then boom, I can be home. So where I work in Bloomington is a very public transportation um, area because of the hotels. Because there's so many hotels around the Great Wolf Lodge and that Walmart and DCM Services that's in the block building, that all these tourists need to get to the Mall of America and downtown Minneapolis and the airport. So the public transportation around in Bloomington is very, very, very good, because most of the people that get in Bloomington are tourists, and tourists can't drive. And a lot of them, like from Mexico, Canada, and all that stuff, they don't have American driver's license. So they use this public transportation in Bloomington to get around. So the good thing about that is, for me, is if I work in Bloomington like I'm doing now, Bloomington is very easy to get to compared to other suburbs in the cities. Um, when last time um, we talked, I also got my certifications, like in 480 hours in IT support. So I got my degree and I got a certification. I got a certification in office work, or slash office receptionist, so I can do that too. Um, and then my brother is going to school for HVAC, and so HVAC is, they put the big heating and vents in the giant skyscrapers, or in the big homes, or even in small homes. They just do is just air conditioning. He he's going to school for that. My sister's still in um school, middle school now, and my stepbrother Taylor, he works at an insurance place in Coon Rapids, because all my siblings, they can drive, so they don't need to take public transportation like me. So that's why they can live out in the middle of nowhere. Um, and then I'm the only one in my family who has visually impairment. So that's why I'm the only one that has to live in town. So, yeah, so my brother sells insurance. So he sells like house insurance, vision insurance, that kind of stuff. So my brother's very deep into home insurance, very deep into the insurance industry. Um, and then um, my cousin moved to South Minneapolis a few months ago. She moved like here 7 months ago, 8 months ago, and I moved here only like 5 months ago. She chose South Minneapolis because of the way that South Minneapolis is designed. Because South Minneapolis is designed shopping center next to the freeway slash the train. And then there's a shopping center. And then behind the shopping center, there's like 5 apartment buildings. And then behind those apartment buildings, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of single family homes. South Minneapolis is just like random apartment buildings in a single family housing neighborhood. So so the good thing is when she's in her apartment, she still has good public transportation because she's walking distance from the train and she's walking distance from the 7 bus that'll take you from South Minneapolis to downtown Minneapolis. And so she still has good public transportation. And when like you look out her apartment window, you can see because she's on like the 8th floor. She's in the tallest apartment building down there, and she can actually see all the single family homes and all their yards and all their big massive trees. And then she has a very beautiful view. And then she can also see Target there, Cubs there, all these there. She has like a slash a shopping area. So she has like a very good view from her apartment, and she still has good transportation, public transportation access. So she moved to Minneapolis first, and she chose South Minneapolis. And I told her that that was a okay neighborhood because I'm always down there hanging out before she even moved down there. So she moved into her apartment, and then she kind of like encouraged me, okay, I'm done with school, blah blah blah. Let's do this. If my cousin can move down there, I can move down there. And then I chose downtown Minneapolis because I wanted even a better bus connection than my cousin did. Because to me, I'm barely ever home. So because I'm barely ever home, I don't really get to look out my window out anyways. Because I'm like 95% of my life, I'm in South Minneapolis, Bloomington, or at work. So I just come here just to sleep and do my bills. So I didn't really care about having good view. I just cared having a cheap place that has access to bazillions of buses and bazillions of feels like trains and blah blah blah. I prefer that over a view. And because I just stare into because when I look out my apartment window, I just stare into the Target headquarters building. um, I get cheaper rent than where my cousin lives, and she actually has like a beautiful like forest she's looking into. So I chose the place where I live because of the price and because of the convenience. Because my cousin, is she has to like take a 15-minute bus ride or train ride to downtown, and then when she's downtown, she can go into any of the local suburbs. For me, I can just walk out my door, go to Nicollet Mall, say, "Oh, there's a bus to St. Louis Park. There's a bus for Apple Valley. There's the bus for Brooklyn Park. Oh, there's the bus for Brooklyn Center. Oh, there's the bus for University of Minnesota. There's the bus for St. Paul. Oh, cool. The train from St. Paul's right around the block, just in case I miss the bus." You know what I mean? So I can just pop out, boom, all the buses are there, and I don't have to. And so it's more convenient than like, oh, I have to take a 15-minute trip to downtown, and then I can finally get that convenience. So my cousin chose like the view and the luxury apartment life because she works mostly from home. So you mean, well, I had to choose more of a, because I don't work from home, I have to choose more of a public transportation friendliest zone. So she encouraged me to move down here because I'm like, okay, this country girl can survive in Minneapolis, so can I. So I'm only lived here like for 5 months and I have no regrets. The only regrets I have sometimes are the homeless people who come up and ask you for food and stuff, and you just tell them, hey man, I'm broke too, or that's why I'm walking and I'm not taking the bus, or hey, I'm broke, that's why I wear cheap clothes. Or you know what I mean? And then they normally leave you alone because they're like, oh yeah, what rich person would buy clothes from Walmart? You know what I mean? So like the only negative about living downtown is like you get a lot of the homeless people or drug addicts or people with mental illness that if you live in South Minneapolis where my cousin lives, you don't really get so much. Um, that's why I advise you guys when you guys come here just to move to like the South Minneapolis area because you can get the good views like what my cousin has. You still get public transportation and stuff. And I can go on and on and on about this. Um, I I also l- loving my life, and I don't know what else to say. As a visually impaired man, getting around some areas of the state of Minnesota can be difficult. So when I'm in downtown, I don't really have that much difficulties traveling around because when I all the street lights talk. So when I click on the crosswalk light, it'll say walk. You are crossing blah 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 street. Wait. You are crossing blah 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 street. Wait. You are crossing blah 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 street. You can go. And then you can just walk across. Um, but some areas of Minneapolis, like the poor areas, they don't have those technologies yet. So then I pull out my white cane that I always carry with me in my backpack, and then I can pull it out. And then the normal people who can actually see better than me will know, okay, this guy's crossing is he's visually impaired or blind. We have to be more careful as this guy's crossing the road so we don't run him over because he can't see the details or he can't see us. So then, I listen for the cars and I'm like, okay, the cars are in front of me are like heading like horizontal. So you mean I can't go because I'm going to get smashed by 15, 16 cars. But once the car, then, once you feel the cars are like heading from your back, your butt to your front, okay, this I can walk because the cars are not flowing in my direction. But if the cars are like going from my left to right or my right to left, I can't cross because I'm gonna get hit. So eventually you kind of learn. You just have to like close your eyes and just listen. And eventually you to learn the flow of traffic and in your local area. And then you kind of get to know how you kind of cross or when you can kind of cross the street. And also sometimes when I'm allowed to cross the street and the walking person is green, sometimes people are just impatient with me. And I'm in the middle of the road just walking and they're literally driving around me. And I'm like, come on, dicks, you almost want to say. I'm halfway across. Just fucking wait. You don't have to like drive around me in the middle of the road as I'm trying to cross with my white cane out. But you mean it's just some people are just idiots and they don't have patience for you and you just have to deal with it. I also have used on my computer, I also use magnification. If you hit Windows Plus, your screen will start getting bigger and you can start moving around. And you hit Windows minus, your screen will get smaller. And it's like the magnification tool. And because I still have some vision left, that tool is normally all what I need. But if you have worse vision than me, there's a software called JAWS, and another one called NVDA that is called a screen reader. So it will literally read to you what's on the screen. So people who are completely out or have low vision than me, when they're navigating the screen with a mouse, everything their mouse touches, the screen reader will tell them what their mouse is touching. And so then they know what's on the computer screen, and then they can use a computer just like everyone else. My favorite program when I was playing with them is Jaws, because Jaws, it's also a screen reader. So once like okay, there's an article on the screen, the exit button's up here, the minimize button's here, the search bar of this news article's here, the sharing button's here. You can tell Jaws to say, okay, now read me the article or read me what's on the screen. And then I'll tell you like then it'll read you the article or the website or whatever. NVDA is just a screen reader. It just tells you where things are, and then from there, you have to figure out how to read it yourself. But that software is free. And NVDA is a lot of use in a lot of places like India, South America, Southwest Asia, like Indonesia, poor countries who can't afford expensive software. Because Jaws is better because it has a screen reader and all that in it, and all that stuff, but it costs you like $600 a year just for that program. But if like you're a poor person that doesn't have 600 American dollars, you have to use a software like NVDA. It's not as good as Jaws, but it's free. So so then you just use the free software out there that's not as good as the paid software like Jaws, but um, but yes. Another sacrifice of being a visually impaired person is like me, because I'm not blind, I'm visually impaired, so I have some sight, but is not as good as a non-visually impaired person or normal person who has good vision. Um, a lot of things I face is discrimination because when I do a job interview, and I do the interview and I tell them at the end that hey, I'm vision impaired. These are the accommodations I need. Blah blah blah. A lot of them say okay, we'll call you back, and they never call me back, right? And so then I normally give them 2 weeks, and then I call them back saying, "Hey, hey, how are you guys doing?" Blah blah blah, and they say the job is full, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm disappointed." And then I go to their website, and they're still saying they're still looking for people. So because I'm disabled, I get discriminated against a lot. And the most discriminatory industry is the IT industry. I went to school to be in IT. Okay? I dreamed about being in IT. But the sad part is the IT industry is also the most discriminatory industry. So that if like you're disabled, they're like poop. They don't want to hire you. A lot of the companies that are willing to hire me are jobs that I do not prefer, but I'm so happy that they're willing to hire me. Like the Mall of America, customer service. I don't want to work in customer service for the rest of my life. But they're the only one that was willing to hire me with my disability. DCM Services, a debt collector agency. I don't want to collect debt, but because no IT company will hire me because of my disability, that's the only job that's the only job that will take me. McDonald's, I didn't want to make fries, but because of my disability and I can't drive, that was the option I was stuck with. Um, and then Cub Foods was actually the company I actually didn't mind of like jobs I actually didn't mind working for. Because Cub Foods actually just cleaned. They tell me you're gonna clean, and I just cleaned and helped old ladies load their groceries into their cars. And the job was straight up pay minimum wage. I just cleaned, and I liked how Cub Foods was unionized. I liked how the union actually stood up for the employees. I liked how the union made sure we have retirement accounts. I liked how the union did all this stuff to protect us. And the union stops people with disabilities from being discriminated against. So I was never discriminated against at Cup Foods. Never. Um, and and I and um That's the hard part when you're disabled like me and you have sucky vision. No one wants to give you, no one like the big IT industry, the big financial industry, even Hennepin County, the place that's supposed to help disabled people and help disabled people get work, discriminate against you. And even the places like state services for the blind, they're supposed to help blind people and visually impaired people find employment, discriminates me because I told them I want to work there, right? Like, cool, I want to work for state services for the blind. And my worker Travis said, "Can you read Braille?" And I'm like, "No, but you're state services for the blind. You can teach me how to read Braille." And he literally told me, my worker, "No, you can't work here because you must be blind and you must read Braille." And I'm like, even my own state services for the blind won't even hire me because I have some vision. If I could literally stab my eyeballs out and fed my eyeballs to the sharks and said, "Look it, I'm completely blind," that's when a company like Safe Services for the Blind will actually take me seriously and hire me. Because I have visually impairment and I'm not completely blind like them, they won't hire me. I went to PCs for People. They're in St. Paul over by the new soccer stadium, and they help people over. They're like St. Paul's version of Free Geek. Minneapolis, you know how Free Geek helps, like I said, helps people disabled and stuff, people get computers and stuff. Um, PCs for People is St. Paul's version of Free Geek. It helps disabled people, low income people get computers. I even went to interview with them, a nonprofit who's supposed to help disabled people. And they still discriminate against me because the lady over there says, "Oh, we don't know if you can do this job because of your low vision." And even a place who's supposed to help disabled people discriminates against disabled people. So that's the issue about being low vision and disabled people. The nonprofits that are supposed to help disabled people are ran by non-disabled people. And then they discriminate against disabled people who want to work at a program who's supposed to help disabled people because the program that's supposed to help disabled people is ran by non-disabled people. So that's the hard part, I'm going to say, is that being a blind and visually impaired man, you get discriminated against. And even by the organizations like Hennepin County, their job is to hire disabled people and give them jobs. Even when they won't hire you because of your low vision, it's a problem. It's a problem. And no one wants to fucking talk about it. And I keep screaming out to the wind on the internet and on Facebook. This is what our capabilities as visually impaired and blind people are, and disabled people. And there's like disabled people who live off Social Security that make podcasts interviewing other blind and visually impaired people and all that stuff. And they share them on Facebook. They share them in their local community groups. And no one listens to them. And because no one listens to their podcast episodes, they don't learn what disabled people can do. And because they don't learn what disabled people can do, they still discriminate against us. Um, like us, a lot of us, like me, that's working, that's disabled, podcasters who are not working, who live off Social Security, who's making podcasts like you, that interview disabled people and what we're capable of, are also shouting to the wind, saying, "Help! We need help!" And no one's fucking listening. No one. And my dream is to get a job in IT. I want a job in IT, in the IT field, but no one is giving it to me. And I'm angry and I'm frustrated and I want to go and strangle people. But I tell myself, "Dustin, do this debt collection agency. The managers are nice. My coworkers are nice. And I'm just gonna work at this debt collection agency until I can find something in IT." Um, and if I never do, I never do. At least I can say I died trying. I died trying. I tried trying to get a job that helps other disabled people. I died trying getting into the IT industry, and I died trying being a productive disabled person. I got my own place. I bought my own furniture. I'm working a full-time job. I'm no longer a medical assistant. I'm on private insurance. I am taking the bus to work every day. I pay for my own bus rides. I live in an apartment just like everyone else. I live in a normal apartment that's not even government funded. I'm trying to be this powerful, confident, disabled person. But the damn world keeps putting fucking barriers in front of me. And I'm just trying my best to not be negative online when I'm promoting what disabled people can do. But it's just hard when society doesn't give you a chance. And I'm pissed. I'm very, very, very pissed. And every day I have to like calm myself down and say, hey, Dustin, one day you'll get a job in the IT industry. You'll have the kids you want. You'll be married. And everything in your life is going to go fine. You're only 26. You're going to be okay. Um, and so that's those are some difficulties I face being visually impaired. And also, I don't get to see my family a lot. I just don't because like 75% of them lives up in St. Cloud. So the only relative I have down here in the cities is my cousin Katie. And if I want to see my family, I have to make it all the way out to Elk River or I have to make it all the way to St. Cloud. And then people are so busy that they don't really have time to come see me. So I'm pretty much here in Minneapolis with only one person I can trust or one cousin I can talk to. And she even has her own life. She has to work, she has friends she has to talk to and stuff. And I'm just here by myself, trying to be a productive, strong, confident, powerful, disabled person that can that's trying to prove to everyone, hey, disabled people like me can live a normal life, just like sighted people, if they give us a fucking chance. But because that's not happening, because that's not, people are not giving me that chance, I'm becoming a damn bitter, angry, frustrated person. And I have to remind myself that, Dustin, you're only 26. You have plenty of time to get into the IT industry and to be an IT professional. My dream, IT professional. But let's see how the world goes. Right now, I am single. Um, I don't. I'm not okay. So I am attracted to certain people. Like I'm more into personalities than what gender they are. So to me, like um, some of my coworkers, I'm like, wow, they're a very good looking person, but I'm not like sexually attracted to them because they don't have the right personality for me. Um, like some of my old coworkers at the Mall of America, I was like, you're definitely not my body type that I like, but I'm very like sexually attracted to you because of your personality. I'm one of those people that I'm not pulled in by like gender stuff or sexual stuff. I'm more pulled into like you have a good personality. Let's be like best friends forever kind of thing. I'm not one of those people like, oh, in a relationship we must have sex and we must have exotic like romantic moments. I'm not one of those like people. I'm one of those people that I more care about friendship. Um, and I'm one of those people like your personality's nice. I'm attracted to your personality, and my personality's nice to you. Let's and then you guys can become good friends. That's kind of a person I am. I'm not like, oh, she's a woman, so let's bang her, or oh, he's a guy, let's bang him. I'm one of those people like I want to be. I'm not into like romantic relationships. I'm more into like best friendships. I'm not like let's get married to all these people I have good personality connections to. I'm not one of those people. And my parents want me to be one of those people, but I'm not. I'm I'm one of those people that like, oh, you have a good personality. I have a good personality. Our personalities are good together. And I don't I I have a desire for them to be my best friend. I don't have a desire to like, ha ha ha, let's go fuck in the bathroom. Or you mean, ah, ha, ha, let's reproduce and make hundreds of babies. Like, I'm not one of those people. I'm just not. I'm one of those people that, like, you and me have a good personality. Let's be friends. I don't care what your gender is. You and me have good personalities. We match together. Let's be friends. I'm not like, and then if our friendship does blossom into more, it blossoms into more. But I'm more of a let's see if our personalities click, and then let's see what happens from there. Well, my parents are like old school, like, you must know if you love them right away, and I want grandchildren. And I'm like, if I don't give you grandchildren, you're not going to have any grandchildren. I'm going based off what my emotions tell me, and my emotions want friends. The best friends and close friends. They don't want like let's bang in the locker. My it's frustrating because my dad, definitely my dad's like, I want grandbabies. I want grandbabies. Give me grandbabies. Date women so I can have grandbabies. And I'm like, I'm one of those people. I'm like, my mother, she wants grandkids, but she's like, just give them to me before I die, kind of thing. So I don't feel pressure from her. It's my father. And I tell him, like, I'm just looking for friends right now. I'm just looking for friends. And my dad just doesn't understand that you can be attracted to someone's personality and be best friends and not bang them. So, and don't have a desire to bang them. So, my brother Caleb, he won't admit it, but I know he does the same thing because him and April, they're not one of those couple like, let's bang behind the gym. You mean they're more like how I am, like, hey, let's be friends. You mean we'll be close friends, and we built this personal, both close friendship, and then see what happens. So that's how I feel about relationships too, and and let's see what happens here. And so if I end up being gay, I guess I end up being gay. If I end up being straight, I guess I end up being straight. And I'm not going to let my parents like force me into a relationship that I'm not ready for. If I end up being a gay person, I end up being a gay person. I end up being a straight person, I end up being a straight person. And I'm one of those people. I'm too busy working, trying to be an independent disabled adult, that I'm not worried about my sexuality. I'm a powerful, visually impaired man, and I'm gonna live my life telling all the sighted people that they're wrong about us. That that if a relationship shows up, a relationship shows up, and if it doesn't show up, it doesn't show up, and that's how I'm gonna live my life. And if I ending up being gay because I'm attracted and to best friends with a guy and it just develops into a romantic relationship, it does. If it ends up with a woman, I end up being best friends with a woman. It turns romantic, and we end up having like sex like relationship. It does. I'm one of those people that honestly don't care. I'm just gonna fall in love with their personality, and I'm just it's just going to twist and manufacture the way it does. And because me as a disabled person, I get discriminated a lot in the dating field, and a lot of regular people won't date me because I'm disabled. But if I just go by based off personalities, eventually someone's gonna like my personality and say, I'm going to be sticking with this person forever, even if they're disabled, because they have a nice personality. And whoever that ends up being is whoever that ends up being. And my dad, if he doesn't like it, he can shoot himself or something. I don't, because I'm trying to live my life, and if he doesn't like it, screw him. Um, and I'm trying to live my life, and and I'm just trying to do my best. And my real mom's happy of me. My stepdad is happy of me. My brother, I think, is happy of me. Caleb's happy of me. And my sister, Kylie, doesn't really say anything. She's like 14, so I don't expect her to say anything or think of anything. And I don't know how my stepmom feels, but I know there's like my aunts are proud of me. My cousins are proud of me. A lot of disabled people in the blind visually impaired community is proud of me because I'm a disabled person that with visually impairment that's working. And if my dad's not proud of me, that's his problem. It's going to, I am, and I'm also proud of myself because when I was at Rogers High School, they said you'll just be volunteer at this place putting stuff in boxes, and we'll put you in a group home, and that's how you live your life. I beat their expectations. I proved those teachers wrong, and I'm fucking proud of myself. I proved those teachers wrong. I proved those people, and I proved my enemies wrong who said I was going to be nothing, who said I was going to be a failure. I proved those bitches wrong, and I'm going to keep proving them wrong. And whoever I fall in love with is whoever I fall in love with, and I don't give a shit what my father and other people say. Because my whole life, I've been punched verbally, I've been discriminated against with opportunities, and I'm fucking done. I am very supportive of the gay community, and because I'm one of those people that love whoever your personality matches with. If your past personalities match with a guy, they match with a guy. If your personalities match with a woman, they match with a woman. If you're a woman, your personality matches with another woman, it matches. Um, the gay community, I am very, very, very support. Um, it's I support them because you're the gay community is pretty much saying that my personality matches with your personality and let's be together. Um, and then the straight community is pretty much saying that my personality matches with your personality. Let's be together. But the difference is with them is they're like, oh, I want your body and your personality. The gay community is like, I want your body and your personality. So I kind of get that because I'm attracted to people's. I'm not really attracted to people's bodies. I'm attracted to people's personalities. So I kind of get that. Um, I'm not like, hoo hoo, I'm gonna blow you behind the fridge in the bar, but you know what I mean? But I'm not that extreme. I'm not extreme enough to be considered gay. But you mean, or I'm not extreme enough to like can be considered straight either. Um, I'm not extreme to be part of both communities, but I get it. I'm on my own little island. So I can kind of get both sides of the story. I get both sides of the story, and that stuff. The only community I don't understand is the trans community, because me being a guy, I'm like, why would you want to be a woman? Being a woman sucks. You have to pee sitting down. Um, you have to worry about tampons. You have to worry about pads. You have to worry about what other women think of you. You have to worry about what men think of you. The women's bathrooms are always dirtier than the men's bathrooms. Women end up, according to science, end up being paid a little bit less than men. Women verbally abuse each other. Um, Women gossip about each other, negative and positively. And women, the number one goal is most women is to give birth to babies. And if you don't give birth to babies, you're not you're not a real woman. So I don't understand why someone would want to be a woman. Being a woman sucks. I like being a guy because I can pee standing up. I can if I didn't have vision if I didn't have vision if I didn't have vision impairment, if I was a normal sighted guy, I could get any job I wanted with no problem. I would get good pay. The men's bathrooms are normally clean, and there's normally no line for the men's bathroom. Um, we have simple clothing options. Your really only dress option is like dress pants, jeans, and shorts. It's like our dress code is simple compared to women's. I like being a man, and even being a gay man and having a relationship with another man is more simple than being a woman. Um, I kind of don't get the trans issue, and I don't really understand. I'm a guy. I'm like, why the hell do you want to be a woman for? Um, Being a guy isn't amazing. And then no one tries to rob you because they're afraid, like, oh, he's a man, he might knock my teeth out. You mean it's just you mean I just like being a guy. So I don't kind of get the whole like trans thing, and I don't like getting involved in those issues because I'm so busy trying to fight for the blind and visually impaired community that I don't have the time and I don't have the energy to help the trans community. I don't, and to do research or to figure out if I like them or don't. I don't have the time, I don't have the energy to deal with that because my job is to work, pay my bills, take care of my siblings, love my family, and just figure life out. I don't, and be a good blind and visually impaired activist. I don't have the time to worry about the trans community. And that's why there's people like you out there podcasting and all that stuff, like saying, oh, this is the trans community and this is what we're about. Um, like your podcast, I take time to listen to them on the bus rides to work and back so I can kind of be informed from your perspective. And then, of course, I listen to places like the Fox News podcast and what they have to say about the trans community. So then I'm listening from both sides, from your side as a trans person, and as Fox News side, more people like me who don't get it. Why do you want to be a woman? Or, oh, and why do they don't want you to become a woman? So then I'm listening from your side and Fox News' side or CNN side, whoever's talking about the transgender debate, and I can say, okay, this is what's going on. So I'm just scratching the surface. So I'm not like deaf to it, but I'm just so busy trying to help my community that I'm not really focusing on the gay and the trans community shit. Because I'm trying to get my community jobs. At least if you're gay or trans, you can get a job. At least if you're gay and trans, you can get a house. If you're gay and trans, you can buy a car. But when you're blind and visually impaired like me, you have less rights than a gay and a trans person. So one day, once I can get my community to the same level of rights and respect as the trans and gay community, and where like we can get jobs, where like we can get loans to buy homes, when like we can get good careers. And maybe that's when I'll focus on other communities. But right now, I'm just trying to get my community's shit together. And then once my visually impaired and blinds communities shits together, that's when I plan to focus more on the other issues. The hardest thing about being blind slash visually impaired is that most people who are not blind visually impaired don't understand there's a spectrum of vision. So like some person, like I have a guy who's named Trent. He's visually impaired and he works at the Mall of America. He's my ex-coworker now, and I still talk to him. He can only see, like, his vision's so bad that he can only see an inch in front of his face. But the inch that he can see in front of his face is very clear. So when he's at the cash register, his face has to be like an inch away from the screen while he's touching the screen, but he can still see the screen. And then there's some blind and visually impaired people that I've met on the internet that they can't see anything. The only thing they can see is the sunlight hitting their eyes. So they can tell when it's daylight because when they wake up, they can see just yellow. They can just see yellow because the only thing their eyes can process is the yellow from the sun. And then at night they just see dark. Um, Nothing, just black, because the light going into their eye at night is just black. So they don't like see like nothing. They just see the color black in their vision. And then there's some people who can, like me, when I'm at the mall, the further away you go, the harder it is there for me to see. So if you're right in my face, I can see you pretty good. But the further away you go, the less reliable my vision becomes. So for me, if like when I was at the mall at the East Desk, I can look across the hall and I can like see the glass. I could see the glass counter. I could see the pizza slices to me. I couldn't see the details of the pizza. I could just see the triangle shapes, but I couldn't see what was on the pizza. But I could tell there's that pizza's there, but I can't tell what kind of pizza's there because I can't see the details of that's on top of the pizza. Um, so to me, I can like the further, but if that pizza was like closer to my desk, I could see more closer that pizza got to my desk, the more clearer the pizza would become. Like like when I was looking across the hall when I was working at the DSS, I'm like, okay, the bigger guy's here today, and his name is Frank. Oh, okay, the skinny person's over there. Her name is Cindy. And you mean I could tell? I can't see the details of Frank's face, but based on how wide the person is, or how skinny the person is, or how slender the person is, without even knowing the details of their shirt or of their face, I can kind of guess who is who. And then when I get closer, their face can get more clear, more clear, more clear, more clear, more clear. And then there's also some blind and visually impaired people who can't see nothing at all. They can't even see the color of the sun or the darkness of the night in their eyelids, like thing. They can't even see that. And then there's some blind and visually impaired people who can see in front of them, but they can't. But they have no side vision, so they can only see what's directly in front of their face, and they can't see what's on the side. And then there's some blind and visually people who can't see directly in front of them, but they can only see on the sides because that's an eye disease where the middle of your eye dies first and then it slowly spreads. And then there's some eye diseases that eat away that you're born with. It's DNA disease, so you can't cure it. That kill the side of your vision first and then goes in. I don't have an eye disease. My low vision is just my eyes did not fully develop. My optic nerve in my between my eyeball and my brain did not develop. Most people they go blind and visually impaired because of genetic diseases. Like, I'm gonna say 95% of the blind and visually impaired community, they go blind because of genetic diseases. So those vision impairment people, if we can find cures for their genetic diseases, we could end their blindness. But someone like me, who was born with a defect, like my vision impairment is not due to DNA or disease. My vision impairment is my optic nerve in my mom's wound did not form right. So unless they cut out my optic nerve and they give me a brand new optic nerve, like a brand new one grown in a lab, that's the only way they can fix my vision. So if they make cures for eye diseases that spread through genetics, they could they could cure 95% of blind people. And the only blind people the world will be stuck with, or visually impaired people that the world will be stuck with, is people like me who were formed in the womb that way. And so if we actually made treatment for these eye diseases, 95% of all blind people, if or visually impaired people, could be cured. But because I was developed, my body did not develop right, and my optic nerve is faulty. A cure won't work unless I die, or unless they rip an optic nerve from a dead person and able to sew it onto my brain, without my brain rejecting the optic nerve and killing it. So it makes me angry because other people with other eye conditioning, other eyes conditions, they can, list a lot of them now, and like definitely in Europe, can be cured. Well, here mine can never be cured unless I'm dead. So it kind of makes me a little bit angry, but I never let that anger kind of like get to me. Um, so yeah, so there's like different levels of eye disease and vision loss. So it's not like you can see or completely out. There's like a there's like a gray zone in the middle that a lot of sighted people don't know about or don't um, realize. And it gets frustrating because most people are like black, white, black, white, black, white. They don't get that there's a gray in the middle. And a lot of things in my life is the gray in the middle. The biggest thing that the sighted community can do to help the blind and visually impaired community is one, give us job opportunities. Two, build housing for us. So if you're a big like developer from Chicago or even a mom and pop one here in Minnesota, buy some land out in Maple Grove, buy some land out in Brooklyn Park, buy some land out in Plymouth where land is cheaper and you can actually do these projects. Buy some land in St. Louis Park and just build a big apartment building and say, hey, this apartment building is for people with disabilities. And then blind visually impaired people and other people with disabilities will move into that building, and then we can work at the local jobs that are around that apartment building, and then we can feel like, cool, we are contributing to society. We have a nice place to live just like everyone else, and we just need normal sighted people to give us jobs and housing. And we don't need fancy housing that has a fitness center, a swimming pool, a hot tub. We just need housing that has a kitchen, a washer and dryer, a refrigerator, a living room like thing, a bedroom, and a parking garage underneath the building. So when our guests come over, or if like you're a disabled person who can drive, have somewhere to park and can visit us, or they can drive to work. Or because I mean, as a disabled person, even if I can't drive, I chose an apartment building next to a frickin' parking ramp. Actually, two of them, because Target has one and the hotel has one, and then there's the office tower next to me has one. So sorry, three parking ramps. So when my guests come who can drive, they can find some place to park, and then when they visit me, there's not like they're not spending 20 minutes trying to find some place to park when I have a parking ramp next door. So you mean it's just like we just those so disabled people, we just need those simple things. We don't need a fancy swimming pool. We don't need a hot tub. We just need someplace nice for us to sleep and live, a very simple place, and where we can just walk or bike to work. And housing developers, like the big ones from Chicago, like BlackRock and all those guys, they can just buy land in the suburbs like Maple Grove, Brooklyn Park, Plymouth, Wayzata, St. Louis Park, and just build these big apartment complexes just for disabled people. And and once they build them, you go to places like State Services for the Blind, the Workforce Center, Advo, Minnesota, and say, hey, just to let you know, we have these apartment buildings made for your clients. Have them come live here. And watch, disabled people will come. They'll live in these buildings, these nice buildings, and pay you rent to live there. So you will make money and just be able to walk to the local McDonald's and work, to walk to the local clubs and work, walk to the local or bike or bus to the local Hy-Vee and work, and just be productive citizens. Fixing our problems is simple, but no one wants to take the initiative to do it. And yeah, it's just very simple. Um, and just to let you guys know, I am Dustin Lindbergh 2 on Instagram. So if you want to know what's going on in my life, you can go follow me on Instagram, because if you message me through Facebook or try to contact me through Facebook, I will ignore you because Facebook is only for my family and friends. But if you want to contact me, you can find me Dustin Lindbergh 2 on Instagram, and you can message me through Instagram, like through the Instagram message or thing. You can follow me on Instagram. Um, and then I also have an email. My email is Dustin, Dustin, Lindbergh, Lindberg, 2 at gmail.com. And you guys can also send me emails. Um, don't send me spammy ones, please. Send me actually good, decent emails so I can actually help you. And my preferred preference is Instagram, um, because it's easier for me to manage all the messages coming in through Instagram than emails, to be honest. Because emails, I get junk ones from Total Wine where I used to work. I get junk ones from McDonald's where I used to work. And you mean my emails, I just get so much junk because of businesses and stuff. I have to go through the junk and I might accidentally delete your email. So if you do email me, I will actually try to read it, but the best way to actually get in contact me is through Instagram, because Instagram will remind me, ding, you didn't read the text message you got from yesterday. And then if I forget, ding, you didn't read the text message that like you got from 2 days ago. And then I'm like, finally, good, I finally have time, and I go in and I actually read it, and then reply on the bus, or when I'm on the way to work, or on the bus on my way home from work. So you guys just have to remember, I do work from like 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. So I do work, you know, a long day, Monday through Friday. So you just have to give me time to respond to your messages. But if you guys give me patience and if you guys give me time, I will respond to the messages that you guys send me, because I'm trying to manage my Minnesota's blind and visually impaired community. I'm trying to respond to their messages through the Facebook group messaging platform thing. And then I'm trying to respond to my family. I'm trying to respond to you guys through Instagram and you guys through email. And it was just, I'm trying to manage everything. I'm trying to respond to my coworkers that have questions about what's happening at work with my clients and stuff when I'm not there. So you mean is just I'm trying to manage so many things and so many responses that just give me time. My Instagram is Dustin Lindberg 2 and my email is dustinlindberg2 at gmail.com. Well, guys, I thank you for this interview. I appreciate this opportunity. And I know I rambled on a little bit, but um, I wanted this to be an honest, open interview, and I hope it is. And if any of you guys want to interview me that are listening to this, just email me at dustinlindberg2 at gmail.com or message me through my Instagram, dustinlindberg2, and just, we can just figure out a time on the weekend when I have off and just do it. And I'm more, as long as you're not making like hateful content, I will mostly do your podcast. Um, so I hope you guys have a good day. Bye bye.